All right, we are live. I'm going to give everybody a chance to go ahead and skip that ad. Give me that ad revenue. The 36 of you guys here waiting, I do appreciate it. Let me go ahead and tweet this on Twitter. It's already out. The Discord projections haven't already been up and everything. I will do the Cup Series projections when probably during the Xfinity Series race if there gets to a point where it's kind of boring. If not, I'll probably just do it afterwards. Talking. Let's see. Let me just tweet this. Just get this out. Feel free to drop those questions and everything in. We can talk more openly about projections and lineup construction because this is the end of the season. And I know we got 3 comments right now, but when we're looking at this, actually, let me finish doing this. Let's see, and then all right, cool. We got that. I want to start off with something that I mentioned in Discord earlier. If I can end up sending this tweet, why is it not tweeting here? Sorry, I had to push the start back. I had something going on over here. So the way that I look at it, let's talk about Ty Gibbs really fast because everybody is concerned about Ty Gibbs like being spun. What are they going to do with Ty Gibbs? What's the situation here? The way that I see it is Ty Gibbs. I don't see Ty Gibbs being spun in this race. Okay. Now I understand all they've been doing on NBC is talking it up like they're going to take out Ty Gibbs and crucify him on the cross and everything for wrecking Brandon Jones this last weekend. But let's really put this into some context real fast. Let me go. Where was this? Yeah, gun to my head, I don't really see anybody retaliating off of Ty Gibbs. Now, why is that? And this is not me wanting to play Ty Gibbs and finding reasons why he's not going to be wrecked. This is just where I'm at. Like, look, Junior literally told his drivers don't do it. Okay. He said earlier this week, I don't remember what day it was exactly. I know I read it, couldn't find the article, the interview, but he was basically saying like, let's not win this championship in a way that we can't really hold our heads high and be proud of ourselves at the end of the day. That sounds a lot like, hey, let's not just absolutely dump Ty Gibbs. Now I understand if they reckon like coming to the white on the last lap, but going out of their way to take Ty Gibbs out, I don't see any of the junior motorsports guys doing it, and specifically Gregson, because he was the one that would probably have the most beef with Ty Gibbs. It's very funny how like everybody is like they need to take out Ty Gibbs, but anytime you speak about intentionally wrecking, people just lose their mind. It's like everybody wanted, you know, like even NASCAR overcorrected with Bubba Wallace, okay, and NASCAR is realizing that, like where was it? I mean, even Steve Letarte said like the Xfinity field will lose credibility if Ty Gibbs finishes this race. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, don't you want to support like people actually racing clean? Like, let's look at the situation where NASCAR is in terms of them like losing control of everybody. Like Austin Hill, sucker punching Myatt Snyder. I mean, I love fighting as much as the next guy and things like that. But NASCAR didn't even penalize him. But they sat him and they sat everybody's down. They've been saying in the driver meeting this whole weekend, like, hey, look, we can't just have you guys wrecking people. We can't just have guys throwing punches like this. There's a reason we didn't punish Austin Hill, despite the fact it's like a week after the Bubba Wallace like a week and a half after the Bubba Wallace incident. Like NASCAR really had their hands tied of like, well, we're just not going to do anything to Austin Hill, but we're going to say moving forward, let's not be stupid. So like I fully really honestly believe that in this drivers meeting, in the team's meeting, or the team in the meeting with the drivers and everything this weekend before this Xfinity Series race, they're like, hey, let's not intentionally wreck anybody. And during that whole time, they're looking at Ty Gibbs as everybody and saying, hey, let's not wreck anybody, okay? Ty Gibbs, don't wreck anybody. Everybody else, don't wreck Ty Gibbs here. Okay, that's where I'm at there. Entering this weekend, I did mention that Ty Gibbs and Noah Gragson were going to be probably the favorites entering this weekend. And really quick, we have 44 minutes until lock. I personally I have not finished my line. as I said, I'm doing one. I don't really want to mess around with these guys here. 56 of you people here watching, thank you very much for being here. I don't necessarily want to mess with a lot of lineups because, like last night, I had Majeski, man. The lineup was looking awesome. I ended up just missing cashing because the fucker wrecked himself for no reason whatsoever. I have no idea what Ty. Majeski chokes in like the worst situations. It's unbelievable. The man can win a ton of late model races, but he can't fucking move in finger late in the race. You can't move Zane Smith. Like, what are you doing? You're just taking your, like, that's not even taking him out. Just move him out of the way. He did it 3 times last night. And the third time he looped himself down the back straightaway. It makes no sense. Anyway, I've not finished my lineup. But the way that I'm looking at it, the way that I'm projecting, and the way that even Pearce is looking at it, Pearce is leaning to Ty Gibbs being optimal. I'm leaning to Ty Gibbs being optimal. Okay, entering this week, I like Ty Gibbs and Gregson. When we look at the practice data between those championship 4 drivers, it's Ty Gibbs. Okay, we kind of saw that coming. The situation comes from Sammy Smith and Brandon Jones. I think Jones is the only guy that we need to worry about when we're talking about Ty Gibbs here, because oh my gosh, Ty Gibbs wrecked him last weekend. But in a situation like this, like you can have an instant to where Jones can move him up the track on a restart or race him like an asshole or something. But you really have to like go out of your way to take somebody out here. And I'm not saying a Matt Kinston Logano, but you can't really like boop a guy and have him like being taken out or wreck him or something. Like if Jones is going to do something idiotic here, entering 3, he just has to dump the shit out of him. Okay. And as I said, NASCAR really just cracked down on like, hey, let's not do this stuff. Okay. We let you guys have free reign all year. We're kind of rein you back in. If he does it 1 and 2, sure, he can like kind of loop him and get Gibbs sideways and put him in the wall backwards or something, but he still has to like overdrive the corner. Like it's going to be clear as day if they're getting stupid here. Okay. Now, granted, the Xfinity Series does have a lot of cautions here at Phoenix in the final race, so we got to keep that in mind. But Jones, in terms of the speed that he's carrying, and this is a track that Brandon Jones, it's one of his better statistical tracks. I think Ty Gibbs just stays in front this entire race. Okay, there's a real chance that he doesn't lose the lead. That the real chance, and even this, like Jones, Gibbs is 3rd fastest 5 lap. Okay, nobody's gonna probably compete with him. Even if Sammy Smith beats him on the first couple laps, Ty Gibbs is going to have the better car over the long run and pass him and hold on to that, okay? So when we're looking at that, Gregson's going to have to find a lot of speed here. When we look back at races that Gregson has performed at in this car, he typically runs better practice times than he did yesterday. We saw that the junior motorsports cars as a whole arrived off the trailer really slow, okay? So I think they are behind the 8 ball. I have currently projected, Gregson to get 29 laps led and 24 fast laps, and I think that's really the cap for him. I think if we see Gregson leading, it'll probably be later in the race, because I think Gibbs really does lead the first stage and has a good chance of leading the first part of it. Okay, so when we're building lines like that, I think a lot of people are going to go Ty Gibbs and Gregson. Okay, I kind of like going Ty Gibbs and Justin Allgaier. Okay. Allgaier, and very similar to yesterday with Chandler Smith starting in the back of the field, or not in the back of the field, but outside the top 10, kind of having that place differential baked in, having a car that was going to compete later in the race. Okay. I think Allgaier really does have all that. Like Allgaier is not going to have the short run speed, but it's a situation where I would not be shocked to see Allgaier running 6th or 5th at the end of stage 1. Okay. Allgaier is a guy that will probably get the lead or get in position to run 2nd due to pit road. Okay. And so I kind of like going Ty Gibbs and Justin Allgaier. It also gives you a lot of salary to work with. Like that's $800 to build lines with. I think you can build a lot of lineups that are going to be very strong today. Specifically, if Sammy Smith doesn't end up leading, if Brandon Jones doesn't end up leading, and it really does go Ty Gibbs, another championship 4 driver, I kind of like going Gibbs and Allgaier. Okay. Now, with that said, we have a little bit more place differential plays to work with than last night. And I think all 3 of these races kind of play out the same way in terms of line construction. We have a lot of people who aren't necessarily projected to do well, but this one's a lot more friendlier in terms of values that can come through, in terms of place differential that you can easily fit into your lineups. Let's start with Riley Herbst. I think you should play Riley Herbst. I think Riley Herbst is going to have a really good car, a really good time. We've seen how Herbst ran in practice, that he's going to be in a top 10. He's going to be top 10 today. Okay, he's going to be running in the top 10. We look at how Riley Herbst has performed at this track, and oddly enough, it has been one of Stuart Haas's better tracks. It's been one of Riley Herbst's better tracks since he moved over to this team. I like Riley Herbst. He's very easy to fit into your line, $8,700, and especially if I'm wanting to go Ty Gibbs and Justin Allgaier, I can very easily get to Riley Herbst and things like that. So I think Herbst is going to be popular. I think he works in a numerous amount of different line of constructions, but I really do like Riley Herbst in this situation. Let's talk about the value plays really fast. There's quite a lot of people that can work out. Actually, before we get to the value plays, let's talk about some trap plays that I don't like. I don't like Jeremy Clements. Yesterday when I was uploading the data, I thought I had messed something up or completely missed, but Clements never ran a 5-lap run. If you go back and look at how he ran, he was not happy with that car. I am very much concerned that Jeremy Clements ends up being just a trap play that doesn't really do anything. Okay, I want to say the same thing with Raja Caruth. Okay, what did Raja do last night, man? Put himself in a bad situation. I know it wasn't him. I know it was the Grays kind of taking him out, but in that same vein, like Raja's running into issues that it's almost a quick anecdotal story here. One of the drivers that I worked with for a while, we'd run, like 396 motors and things like that. There was one time to where I think the bell housing blew out, or we had something blow through the engine block or something, and we weren't able to use the motor that we had been using for like a year and a half or whatever. So we got a loaner motor that was a 355, had much less horsepower, and that driver ended up really performing a lot better with less horsepower. Not saying that he wasn't able to keep it under himself with like the bigger motor, but kind of when you brought down the overpowering of just how much torque that faster motor had, he ran a lot better with a 355, oddly enough, than he did with a 396. Very similar to Raja Caruth. The issue comes from is that I think Raja is being forced up way too fast. That was my argument that I was trying to think of yesterday between Lane Riggs and Raja Caruth. Like Lane Riggs is going to perform excellent because nobody's looking at him. Nobody cares what Lane Riggs does. Everybody cares what Haley Deegan does. Everybody cares what Raja Caruth does. Raja Caruth is being forced up extremely fast, and I think part of it is because he's being put in equipment that I think is, and I'm not saying Raja's bad, but I think he's being rushed up with equipment that is really, really taking a lot of skill to learn. And in terms of what the Alpha Beta Prime machines are having, like these are cars that are clearly under the right people are going to have top 15 speeds. Okay. I think that's why Raja Caruth's lap times were so piss poor on Saturday. When we look at how many laps he ran, he was out there for a long time, but we look at how, like, he'll have a good lap. Actually, he did 2 laps, went back into pit lane. He had 4, like the next 4 laps after that, a 126 at the line, 127, 126, 126. Part of me is concerned and thinking that Raja is just having a lot of motor behind him. Like, I think he's overdriving the corners a lot. When we look at that incident yesterday, yes, he was in like a 5-wide situation, but Raja really threw himself into that, got caught up in somebody else's mess. I think Raja Caruth is a bit of a trap play today, to be honest with you. And if people want to chase him, by all means, like I could be wrong. And I'm not saying Raja wrecks today, but I think Raja gets stuck, I think he gets stuck running around 29th to 21st. I know he has ARCA experience here. When we look at how well he did in those ARCA races, because trust me, I was there. Look at those fields. Like, it's not even close. So of course he's going to have good finishes in the ARCA races here, but due to the fact that how worried I was about him in the truck series yesterday with the practice speed, which what that car was going to be able to do, or that truck rather, like him running around 19th to like 15th all day, not being able to pay off, but just kind of running there due to what that car was doing. Long story short, I don't want to play Raja Caruth. That's just where I'm at. I don't really want to mess with him today. So when we look at value plays that I think can actually work out, Joe Graff Jr., if you need that, I assume you're paying up for either 3 of the championship 4 guys, or you just absolutely need the salary. I like Joe Graff Jr. I know he wrecked in practice, but he's going to have speed that is going to be fine. He's starting dead last, and he's absolutely the cheapest guy. I like Josh Williams at $5,600. Look at the lap times that he's running. That's going to be a top 22 car. Look at how well Josh Williams has ran here in the past. He's going to be a top 25 car based on track history alone. I know he has a 35th and a 32nd place finish in the last 2 races here, but this is a track that Josh Williams typically performs well at. JJ Yaley has a chance to perform and do very well at in this race. Brennan Poole is another guy. I wish he didn't know that stupid out of the groove guy. I can't even hate on Eric Estep because look, I have my logo on some race cars and I go goo goo gaga. I'm very proud of it and everything. I don't like Eric Estep a lot. I think he's part of the reason why there's so much misinformation and propaganda out there. I think he looks at racing in a very naive point of way. It's cool that he has out of the groove on a car, but fuck, I don't like him. Anyway, Brennan Poole carrying that car. It's clearly so. I have no idea where he got that money. Like that's an ass ton of money, unless JD Motorsports just gave him like a huge discount. That's a lot of money to have a full car sponsored by us. So I mean, Eric, can we call him out? I'm not saying he's like a gazillionaire or stuff, but Eric Estep is clearly bringing in the money. Okay, because that is probably anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 worth of sponsorship on this stupid car. Okay, if not more. I'm just thinking of JD Motorsports, and I think if I brought them 10K, they put my stuff on the car as well because they're that desperate for money. But Brennan Poole is going to perform well. I'd like him at 20. I like him starting 26th, and so we have quite a lot of value plays that can work out and that you can build with and everything like that. So let me go ahead and start going through stuff. 32 minutes until lock. I'll probably be live for like next 10, 15 minutes or so to give you guys time to finish your line. I got to end up finishing and deciding what line I have. I have 3 lines that I have made, but I'm just not sure which one I'm going to run. So I'll probably decide that after the stream. Let's go and through Gibbs and Gregson and Gibbs and Allgaier, I think are the 2 most popular types of builds that we're going to see today. Probably, I mean, personally, I don't like LeBay, and I made my argument on Raja there. But I mean, I could be wrong, and I've been wrong before. I'll certainly feel bad if I'm like, man, I think Raj is going to struggle and everything like that. Oh, I also want to add that play Kyle Weatherman. Weatherman is going to be optimal. I really, really believe Weatherman is optimal. So I'm building with Ty Gibbs, Justin Allgaier, Kyle Weatherman. I told you I like Herbst, so he'll probably be in that line as well. You can kind of see where I'm going there. Best pump play on DK, that is easily between Josh Williams, Joe Graff Jr., probably those 2 are the best pump plays. If you don't like that, can't afford it, or you need another really cheap guy for whatever reason, Mason Massey would be the guy that I would go to in that situation here. Okay, thank you for being here the entire season. Thank you for being here for multiple seasons and always typing this and just always supporting this. Excuse me. Always supporting the stream and everything. Michael Curtis, I saw that you just donated. I'll get to that in a second. But thank you yet again for the $2 super chat, for the $2 donation, for the support. Thank you very much. 80 of you guys here for the Xfinity Series race. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching the videos. In case you haven't seen, nobody else made NASCAR content this weekend. I was just thinking the other day, like when I was looking at like I'm at like 300 and something videos, just the previews, not the live shows. And I was like, that doesn't add up to like the years that I've been doing this. But I forgot I've been doing this since before Xfinity and Truck Series qualifying. So I really have been doing this for years. Okay, we've only had like 2 or 3 seasons of Xfinity and Truck Series content. So before that, I was doing stuff at DFS Tavern. Before that, I was doing like 1 preview video a week. So thank you guys for just being here, supporting me, helping me pay my bills with this stuff. That's literally what I do to pay my bills: the Patreon and the YouTube ad revenue and the support that you guys give through PayPal. Thank you so much for helping me just pay my bills and everything like this. Michael Curtis, Allgaier, Gregson, Weatherman, Herbst, Graff, Burton. I like that lineup, but my worry would be with Burton there. I think I would probably, let me look. 22. I'm giving Alex LeBay right now, I'm giving him 22 points. I'm giving Burton 31. But and this is mainly based on what I think practice is going to do. If we do get a lot of cautions, which I think we can do, I think that helps out LeBay more. If you feel like you need a bit more upside in that line, I would probably take LeBay over Jeb Burton. If you're happy with Jeb Burton, I think you should be fine. But restarts should and can be wild. Chris Wright is the best. I know we have the Son of God, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost. I'm such a bad fake Christian. I know we got him in the 54, but Chris Wright, like, dude, I wish he was with KBM. Can you imagine a Chris Wright, Chase Purdy, and Jack Wood a lineup for next year with KBM? That'd be awesome. Yet again, and not even wrecking. I want to know how many incidents Chris Wright has had this year, because this is a situation I would not. I just went blank there, man. I started spitting all over the place. I bet you $1. I bet you $1 Chris Wright hits the wall out of 2 at some point in this race today. I guarantee you he gets in the wall at some point. Yeah. Let's see what's going on here. Since they're falling out of play, his pit crew's kind of falling off too. Makes me wonder if they are just kind of written the season off since they're falling on top. I'm not exactly sure who you are referring to right here, Sterling. If you want to get there, or if you want to explain that, I can comment more on that. Yeah, $10 is almost full. I know the one filled up. I think the 4 already filled up. Currently 24. If this thing can load. 27 minutes. Oh, the $10 is filled now. 27 minutes until lock for the final Xfinity Series slate of the year. I love Riley Herbst. I'm going to play Riley Herbst. Vinny, I think. Vinny, are you a Vinny Vincent fan? What do you think of the Egyptian? What do you think of the Egyptian warrior, Mr. Vinny Hurst? But I like Riley Herbst there. What's going on, Clutch? Thank you for watching my CS:GO stuff, man. During the offseason, and usually I've started doing the pick'ems just because that's easy views if I can get it out at the right time for Counter-Strike. But yeah, also guys, if you like esports, this Rio Major is freaking awesome. I was watching the opening best of ones between Navi and Virtus Pro today. That was an awesome. I mean, it was like watching the grand final. I think we were in the triple overtime there. Josh Berry, similar to Ben Rhodes last night. And also shout out to all those motherfuckers out last night that stayed out and then took 2 tires in a championship restart. And then shout out to Nemechek for cucking his teammate. The reason Chandler Smith didn't win the championship is because John Hunter made it 3 wide and cucked Chandler Smith. He couldn't get the lane. He couldn't get the lane to pass Zane Smith because Nemechek threw it 3 wide. It was fantastic. Josh Berry, I think very similar to Ben Rhodes, gonna need late race shenanigans and gonna need a 2-tire call to get the championship in the lead today. He is my least favorite of the championship 4 contenders. And really, if this was a regular race, I wouldn't be targeting Josh Berry, and that's just where I'm at there. I finally got to this one here. I saw it on the screen. But Michael, thank you very much yet again. And yeah, best of luck to you as well. David, thank you very much. Thank you. And just thank you for being here. Let me move this over here so I'm actually looking at you guys. Brown and Snyder. Brown is slow. That was very disappointing. It's very, I mean, this is just David Starr 2.0 at this point. Because I was like, oh wow, yeah, Brandon Brown in the Bobby Dotter 08 machine, that's not too bad. He should be freaking flying. That man knows how to drive. And I looked at his practice times and I was like, oh no, that car is just slow. You know, Brandon Brown is going to absolutely struggle here today, and that is very disappointing. It's a shame that go through these here. Like Brandon Brown, across the board, 37th slowest on speed. When we look at his 5-lap distribution, he is the 37th slowest car today. I mean, he's absolutely on just, he's up creek without a paddle. It's very sad. Trump Train was not very kind to Brandon Brown, and this is where he's at. He's in a Bobby Dotter car that has the green flag speed of like 34th. So I can't get to Brandon Brown. Snyder, he's $6,900, but very similar vein. Like these guys are so slow. You know, I've been trying to not mention Jordan Anderson because I don't necessarily like making fun of somebody who just had who see, I'm trying not to even make a joke here. Very unfortunate that he got all those burns and stuff. All right. With that said, however, his Xfinity program is still a mess. Okay, this car is slow, very similar to Brandon Brown, just one of the slowest cars out there. And Snyder consistently went back into pit lane like crazy during practice because he was not happy with that car. So I would not be playing Myatt Snyder today. DK Cash, Gregson, Gibbs, and Allgaier. Who would be your fourth? It'd be Riley Herbst. That's what I would do there. What you benching now? Look, dude, I got guns. Like, I know I don't look like I'm absolutely ripped, but I mean, I got some real guns. I mean, it's not like, gooey. I don't have like goo stuff. I'm not benching 580. First off, I don't bench either. Okay, I run. Look, I'm a Hispanic. I'm a Mexican. I got to run. Okay, I mean, if we're fighting and I need to use the upper strength, I mean, they have caught me and I'm running issues there. Okay, in terms of upper body workouts and stuff, I mainly use like dumbbells. Now, if you're talking dumbbells, I use 30, 35. Those are the two that I work with. But usually I'm just doing cardio and being on the treadmill. So I don't bench. I'm sorry, man. I don't go to the gyms. You think I'm going to the gyms? Shit, I'm here playing Counter-Strike at 2 a.m. in the morning. You think I'm benching anything worth talking about? If you want to talk about it in terms of like how many bales of alfalfa can I pull out of a truck, I mean, then we'll talk there, okay? But in terms of actual benching, sorry about that. Any Sieg LeBay, as I said, Alex LeBay, I would look to him performing a lot better in a green-white checkered. Ryan Sieg, I'm not playing, not getting to because he's starting 7th. Kyle Sieg starts 22nd. I think Kyle ends up finishing around 20th, 21st today, so I think that severely limits the upside of what he can do in a fantasy perspective there in terms of lineups. So yeah, that's really it. I like Ty Gibbs to win this race. I would like it if you guys would support Ty Gibbs. I know everybody's still mad at him, but the kid wants to win. You can't hate it. You can't hate somebody for wanting to win. Michael Jordan wanted to win. Tom Brady wants to win. Be like, oh, those guys suck too. I mean, I think you might be the issue there. I like winners, okay? And Ty Gibbs is a winner. Hopefully, he wins the championship tonight. Or Gregson. If he can't do it, please give it to Gregson. I don't want an Allgaier championship. And Lord knows I don't want Josh Berry winning the championship. So one of those two guys there. Any last minute questions or anything for me before we end up calling it tonight? Probably tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time for the final Cup Series live stream. 75 of you guys still here. I appreciate it. Thank you for spending half an hour with me on your Saturday, on your very busy Saturday. You could be watching, college football if you're into that. You could be doing anything else, but you're not. You're here. And there's almost 6,000 people in the $10 contest today. 75 of you guys watching this. I would assume most of you guys are playing on that. So thank you very much for just giving me your time and things and supporting me, supporting Pearce, and just being here week in and week out. And I don't see any more comments. So I think I am going to end it there. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the Cup Series thing. So best of luck. Hopefully you make some money tonight. And I will see you guys in the morning. So see you then.